Welcome, dear friends, and welcome to this thing of ours today, this Monday. And we have so much to discuss, and very frankly, getting right down to brass tacks. I don't know whom to believe. I am telling you that there has never been, in recent memory, there has never been anything that even remotely indicates what could be a very serious break, a fissure, a fracture between that of MAGA and that of a concerned country who are asking themselves, what does Iran have to do with us? Now, this is like nothing else. To me, there are very, very few issues that are as serious as that involving this notion of, and this is important, this notion of war. I don't understand this. There are many, many people, many of us who were saying, what does Iran have to do with us? Why? What does Ukraine have to do with us? This is, where is America first? Listen to what I'm saying. And unlike I hate to say it, Ukraine was never really that serious. NATO from the beginning said, look, Ukraine's not going to be a member of us. Don't worry about it. Do what you have to do. I understand. I get it. Ukraine is whatever. This is a different story. Pakistan is saying if anybody uses nukes, we'll use nukes. We still haven't. There's a story I'm reading, an RT had it, that they're trying to see if Russia perhaps can lead and help in some type of negotiation. What negotiation? What negotiation are we talking about here? And we have to ask ourselves a very, very serious question, my friends. What happened to America first? What happened to this idea, this great notion called America first? It's not. What does Iran have to do with us? Why would we incur the wrath of the world and something, and especially involving nuclear superpowers? For what exactly? Does this make any sense to you? And remember, you do not have to give up your membership card in the MAGA fan club if this still holds true. I cannot believe not the saber rattling, but this anti-Iranian, how people are pivoting, not everybody, I think far fewer, but pivoting all of a sudden towards Iran. Why? And here is the issue which people are asking. It's a great idea to do everything to stop the development of a nuclear weapon. Okay, fine. Iran shouldn't get a nuclear weapon. Okay, fine. Great. I understand it. That's fabulous. Thank you for that. But the issue then becomes, but is it war? Is there negotiation? Is that how you bring something about? We did it in Iraq. We did it in Afghanistan. Is that just the way the United States does? And what happens if for some reason because many people are saying that if anything happens to the power or the supreme leadership in Iran, we're responsible. What do we do, and how do we explain this to the rest of the world? My friends, get ready. Make sure you are subscribed. This is one of the most important broadcasts ever. And I want to hear your thoughts and your comments, and I want to hear what you think and what's important to you and why this is critical. And I want cogent thinking today more than ever. This is serious, serious business. I'm not exaggerating. But first, my friends, this critical words from our sponsor. Gold has remained a cornerstone of global wealth and financial security for centuries. And in times of economic uncertainty and inflation, gold is seen as a safe haven. With all-time high gold prices and renewed interest in precious metals, the demand for new high-grade gold discoveries is surging, And that's where I want to talk to you about a company called Opawica Explorations Incorporated. They trade on the U.S. market using the ticker symbol OPWEF, and they could well be positioned to capitalize on this trend, offering investors exposure to potential upside in the heart of Quebec's prolific mining country. They have their flagship gold exploration projects in Quebec's world-renowned Abitibi Gold Belt, and they're purely focused on achieving their next major goal, making the next significant gold discovery in one of the world's richest mining regions. Quebec is consistently ranked as one of the world's top mining jurisdictions, renowned for its strategic locations for trade with the U.S., stable regulations, infrastructure, and rich mineral endowment. The Abitibi Gold Belt alone has produced over 190 million ounces of gold from 120 mines. Opawica's properties are strategically located near these giants, with one of the largest producing gold mines right next door to their Arrowhead property. They are literally surrounded by billion-dollar properties. Opawica's flagship Bazooka and Arrowhead properties are at the center of the action. The Bazooka property, adjacent to Yamana Gold's Wasamac project, has shown impressive gold grades in the past, and with the company launching an ambitious 20,000-meter drill program across its key project, the timing couldn't be better for investors looking to capitalize on the gold rush. One of the world's premier gold investors, Eric Sprott, is a major shareholder in Opawica Explorations. Sprott made a personal $1 million investment in the company's oversubscribed $5.28 million private placement, demonstrating strong confidence in Opawica's exploration potential and management team. His involvement places Opawica among a select group of junior explorers with direct backing from one of the most respected figures in the global gold investment community. Opawica's properties benefit from excellent infrastructure, including hydropower, road access, and proximity to mining services, allowing for cost-effective and sustainable exploration. This operational efficiency means more capital can be focused on drilling and resource expansion, enhancing shareholder value. With gold prices at record highs and the growing importance of domestic mineral production in North America, Opawica is uniquely positioned for growth. The company's ambitious exploration plans, prime location, and a world-class gold district, and impressive historic results make it a compelling opportunity for investors seeking exposure to the next wave of gold discoveries. Opawica Explorations is currently trading around 11 cents per share, and with a comparable project in the area selling for $4.8 billion in 2023, the company could represent a significant opportunity for investors. With major drill programs underway, strong backing from Eric Sprott, and leadership from CEO Blake Morgan, a third-generation miner and the company's largest shareholder, Opawica offers substantial potential upside as it advances its exploration efforts. Thanks to Opawica Explorations for sponsoring today's video. You can get their latest presentation here on the website at opawica.com. This video is conducted on behalf of Opawica Explorations and was funded by Capitalize on It. I have been compensated for this video. I only express my opinion based on my experience. Your experience may be different. These videos are for educational and inspirational purposes only. Investing of any kind involves risk. While it is possible to minimize risk, your investments are solely your responsibility. It is imperative that you conduct your own research. There's no guarantee of gains or losses on investments. Please do your own due diligence. I'm not a financial advisor, and this is not a financial advice channel. All information is provided strictly for educational purposes. It does not take into account anybody's specific circumstances or situation. If you are making investment or other financial management decisions and require advice, please consult a suitably qualified licensed professional. The securities of Opawica Explorations are speculative, and the company has not yet achieved consistent positive cash flow from operations. As a growth stage company, it anticipates negative cash flow for the foreseeable future as it focuses on development and commercialization efforts. Parties viewing this video should thoroughly review the company's public disclosure and documents available at sedarplus.ca. I don't like when people use the term, especially in our business, I'm worried, this is the end of the world. Christian Jonas, Christian, where have you been, my dear friend, Christian? Look who else is here. Ham, Trams, Shazam. And Maggie, thank you, dear friends. Thank you for joining. I am not one to say this. I hate this. I hate when people say it's the end of the world. This is as close to existential when we are talking about doing everything, not only that is contrary to what we're about, but something that is so foolhardy, so insane. Ladies and gentlemen, before maybe I'm misreading the room, my dear friends, who is for this? Who right now? And I know there's going to be somebody who says, of course, because you know the legions of comedians who inhabit our world. Do you know? And I mean this. Do you know how perilous this is? Do you grasp this? Are you maybe not understanding this? Who right now is for this? Tell me, which of you who says yes? Let's go after Iran. Go after it. Bomb them. Take out everybody. Ayatollahs, leaders, leadership. Why? Because of a preemptive strike. Because we have decided you cannot have a nuclear bomb. Raul says, is the conflict between Israel and Iran a lie-hop? You know what? The conflict between them is a good question. Our involvement is a my-hop. We are directly, we are not aiding and abetting. We are conducting this. We know, and everyone knows, Israel does not have the ability on its own to do any of this without American help, material, satellite configuration, leadership, and the like. So my question is, which of you, who wants to stand up and say, yes, keep going, bring Iran to their knees, wipe it out. George Keane says, where is J.D. Vance while all this is going on? You know, George, it's funny you say that. Mrs. L was saying that a lot of people, a lot of young people in particular, kind of liked J.D. Vance, and we don't know if in a weird way the president, maybe, or his advisors might not necessarily appreciate J.D.'s popularity, leadership. I don't know. Understand something. I'm like you, sitting outside the stadium, hearing the crowds and trying to guess the score. I don't know where this is. I don't know if the president knows. I would hate to think that President Trump knows what he's doing and says, yes, bring this on. We are going to, in essence, wipe out Iran. Wipe them out. Just take them out. Just take out the leadership. Am I getting through? Am I getting through? Ukraine was never Ukraine was kind of scary. Like, well, what happens if a NATO country gets involved? What if there's an Article 5 kind of protection? What if? Okay, fine. It's a good point. You know, what if an Article 5 comes along and somebody says, how do I say this? If you understand that Article 5 is the rule that says if somebody in NATO is attacked, then all NATO members have to come to the aid and come to the defense or whatever. So in that particular case, people said, do you really want NATO to be involved in this, where we would have to find ourselves either defending against Russia? Let's say Russia were to go after somebody in Ukraine. Maybe it was a Finnish, who knows? That was rather tangential. George Keane says, I'm disappointed that Trump #2 administration is a boys and girls club from Fox News. It's been more reckless than not, sad and avoidable. I am seeing something that I'm scared about, and that is how the president's legacy. Remember the first time when Trump didn't, got Got to move this thing back here. When Trump didn't, how do I say this? Trump didn't understand how it worked at first. Remember this? Trump was, he learned, he came back and he said, he's better now. Remember this Trump, I said, we thought Trump was smarter after the first time. The first time, let's face Trump had no idea. I mean, they came after him double barreled. It's not even funny. So we thought, this is a new Trump, a better Trump, a smarter Trump, a wiser Trump. And he's done some things which I don't understand. I don't understand Kash Patel and Dan Bongino. And by the way, Dan Bongino, on two separate occasions, both involving, actually three, if you count Pam Bondi, the referencing to Epstein was absolutely beyond anything I could ever imagine. It's like, why are you bringing this up? Why are you bringing this up? Why in the name of God did you bring up on twice or maybe three times? You kept bringing Epstein up and never concluded it. Remember last time? I know it's a different subject, but Bongino even said, "Listen, we're going to get to the bottom." No. We're going to show you the video. It's like, why don't you let this go? Why do you keep telling people about it? She said at first, "I've got the list." She had the binder. She handed them out to some people. That's number one. Number two, Kash and Dan went on TV, said, no, it was a self-harm, as it were. And then they did it again with Bongino saying, we're going to release the tape. George says, who was looking out for DJT? Can't be the kids. Who do you think are his closest advisors? Are his Diet Cokes laced? I don't understand this. I don't understand. And you know, the idiot, thank God his enemies are such idiots. This no kings this weekend. What was the purpose? It's almost like it was a deliberate attempt to pretend to do something or to act in a way without saying anything. They didn't lay a glove on him. Nothing. It was the easiest thing anybody's ever seen. They didn't lay a glove on him. Nothing. But if they wanted to, they would say, what happens? What about America first? What about America first? What are we doing here? So anyway, so Ukraine was one thing. So I don't understand the Epstein thing. I don't understand where this kind of went at first. I think so far the thing which is really good is their never-ending coverage, or at least what it seems to be their efforts as to removing illegals from our country. That's what I'm seeing. That's what I'm seeing. There's no doubt about that. That's plain and simple and obvious. And but Iran, why are you doing this? Why are you doing this? They told Israel, listen, I don't know about your Iron Dome. Iron Dome, I think we all know, is pretty much, it's not what it's cracked up to be. Number two, the defense system, this monolithic, huge, impenetrable, ungodly military and protection system, this shield, so to speak, that Israel has, overdone, overrated. Think about what I'm telling you. It's the most incredible thing anybody's ever seen. Overrated. What are we talking about? There was a discussion a while back. I never forget it. It was Max Blumenthal, who, say what you want, I think has to be one of the most, I don't think anybody can touch him in terms of being informed as to the interstitial moving parts of everything. They asked him, do you think that October 7th was, do you think that Israel kind of knew what was going to happen? Do you think it was, as we would say, a lie happen, let it happen on purpose in order to draw people in? Do you think so? And Max Blumenthal said no. He thinks they may have been just incompetent. So I don't know where that's going. I don't know if this, because remember, believe nothing. Whenever they tell you something, the first reaction you should have is don't believe it. But we were told, in essence, and we were told to believe that there was this absolute, that Israel is this end all, be all, how do I say this? This gargantuan force that just, well, it turns out people are saying, no, not without our help, not without our military, not without our support, not without our actual weapon systems, and not without the satellite structure. And also, now we're sending battle ship, not battleship, carrier class or carrier battalions out to the Middle East. Why? Why? What are we doing? What do we expect? What do we expect to do? And another thing too is they have been saying for the longest time, listen, understand something. George King gets it. George says, MN shoots over the weekend related to anything or random. We'll get to this in a moment. It's a very good question. Say what you want about Iran. Say what you want about it. But they have been saying, and Intel has been saying for the longest time, they have hundreds of thousands or a lot of ballistic missiles. And you may not think, well, they don't carry the capacity of a 2,000-pound JDAM. Watch this. They're going to just unleash this, and what this does to appearance and what this does to. So Israel strikes. Remember what they did to the Iranian embassy in Damascus, which many people considered at that time an act of war because that's a sovereign, the ambassador, the embassy is another story. Anyway, you start this. You're gonna draw fire, and then you're gonna say, now we have to go in and finish the job. So you go in, shoot, draw fire, shoot them back, and then they're turning to us to say, okay, help me out here. Help me out. What are we doing? Now, let me go back to what I said initially. Nobody is saying that the initial idea, the initial thought about wanting to prevent the possession of a nuclear weapon, fine. But what about the old notion of just the idea of diplomacy, negotiation? George says Iran would be Iraq. Iran would be Iraq debacle X. Oh, times a billion bad. Oh, I agree without a doubt about that. Now, this weekend, what do you think? Let us start with this. Premise number one, ladies and gentlemen. Do we believe anything that anybody tells us regarding that which happened in Minnesota? Anybody? Anybody? Do you believe right off the bat? No. Let me save you some time and effort. No. You believe nothing. Whatever they tell you, just get rid of it. Forget it. Because the news folks are going to specifically involve themselves in repeating the narrative that is provided. The narrative doesn't make any sense. They're going to say he was connected to, they said Alex Jones, Trump, name it. George says, if Iran has nukes, don't you think Tulsi would say? Tulsi is the director of national intelligence. She doesn't run the CIA. Remember, that's a kind of a misnomer. I don't know if anybody knows. I don't know. Remember, you've got Pompeo and these people. He's still, by the way, doesn't Pompeo look really, really, really scary? Have you seen him lately? I don't know if he's doing the Ozempic or whatever it is, but, huh? U.S. Fox, yeah. Doesn't he look he's unrecognizable? Let me tell you something. Just as an aside, remember I'm telling you this, when it comes to either Wegovy or whether it comes to Ozempic. Have you ever seen the side effects, the pancreatitis and other problems? If you think having food hang around slower, I'm not even going to get into that. Please be very careful. Ladies and germs, please be very careful. But let's go back to what we're saying here. This is important. They're going to do everything in their power to show that this shooter was somehow either pro-Trump, pro-Alex Jones, pro... Now, did not this shooter at least explain, or it was suggested that he was upset with the fact that one of these lawmakers voted against extending medical benefits, I believe. So that means he ostensibly is against somebody who would vote against democratic policies, extending medical benefits, extending unlimited, whatever it is. Okay, fine. That being said, how do you draw this? They also say he's a crazed killer. Do you believe he's a crazed? Why do we think people are crazed? Why do we think people are crazy? People might be evil. People might be a lot of things. Why do you think people are crazed? Why do we say this automatically? So you are not going to find out anything about this. Do you also find that maybe it took a little bit longer in terms of in order to find him, did you think that maybe it was a little slower in the reaction than I would have liked to have seen? See, I just don't know what to do. I don't know. I start off with the default application, with the default belief that whatever I'm telling you is wrong. Whatever I'm telling you is going to be the mistaken belief system. I cannot believe that. Now, this weekend, let me say this again. I thought it was a wonderful presentation. I thought the pageantry. I loved the musical groups and musical singing, military and otherwise. I'm going to tell you something which bothers me. George Keynes, by the way, is on fire. It says, with the Minnesota suspect, think Luigi motivated? It's hard to explain what motivation is. I don't understand. Luigi, by the way, is going to find himself absolutely forever and a day. Later on, he's going to be thinking, what the hell was I thinking with this one? What was the point of this? But let's go back to this. We don't know why people do certain things. There are so many people motivated by a variety of reasons, but nobody does anything. Let me also, and I'm throwing a lot of stuff at you. The No Kings movement was a waste of time. Waste of time. There was not a clear movement. Whoever came up with No Kings doesn't understand how this thing works. I can't say this enough. Whoever came up with No Kings missed the point completely. You need something about Trump down or Trump is a killer or Trump is, the Constitution, something. But No Kings is too much of a what? Some people thought maybe it was a movie premiere. Isn't it that movie regarding Muhammad Ali? It was so ill-conceived. People who were finding themselves protesting couldn't even tell you what it was they were protesting. What does No Kings even mean? What did it convey? You never have something that people cannot immediately grasp. I'm going to say this again. Never have anything where people cannot immediately grasp what is happening. If you don't do this, you're missing the point. All that work, all that effort, I'm thinking to myself, what was the point of that? It was the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. It's dumb. So that's that. Another thing I want to say to you, and I know you're going to disagree with this, maybe some, maybe not all. But when I think of my country and our country, I think of a country that is proud, that has done more to help civilization and help than anything else. I view what we do and what we believe in to be paramount, absolutely paramount in terms of helping humanity and the world. When I see folks associate, and I mean this, when I see people associate us with military hardware, with weapons and tanks, I'm thinking, no, that's not it. That's not what we're about. Why is it that we have so many people who still associate military hardware, military prowess, military? That's not what I'm proud of. That's not what we're all about. That's not it. I'm sorry to say this. How many queens were at no kings? George, George is on a roll today, my friends. George, you're on a roll. Do you believe that this is what this is what we're about? Always military support. We're great because we have more weapons than you. Now, I know some people have a belief system that part and parcel of everything that we do, everything has to do specifically with the notion and the idea of our being involved in protecting democracy. That's not what America's about. That's not what we're about. I want to stop this. I want to put all our money. How many of you, dear people, think that you could use a couple of, not $1 billion, but in your town, couple of $1 million for potholes, bridge repair, infrastructure, roads, railroads? We're still living in a world with an 18th century, we're like the cannonball. This is like Hooterville with our rail system. What is going on here? Yes or no? 1 for yes, 2 for no. Does President Trump really know what he is doing in all respects? 1 for yes, 2 for no. 1 for yes, 2 for no. 1 for yes. Do you really believe Trump understands fully, completely, and totally everything he's doing? That he's being briefed accurately? That he understands the long term? That he says, okay, if we have the world against us, we are willing. It's a good idea for us to go against Iran, Pakistan, the Middle East, maybe even Russia. It's a smart idea for us to go after Iran because of, let's go with the official reason, because they possibly possess a nuclear weapon. Anybody believe that? Do you really believe that this is a good idea? Mr. President, go ahead and do it. Stop what you're doing right now. All of your programs, all of your, we have midterms coming up. Midterms. America loves a war. Let's go in. And if this thing gets protracted, now the only good thing going about this is that so far the Democrats and the Republicans are virtually indistinguishable from each other because both of them are owned by the military-industrial complex and the neocons, and what some people believe is to be this ever-expanding, ever-powerful Israeli lobby, which makes a lot of sense. George says, DJT number 2 seems to love being president, but not the work. I don't know. I think you're onto something as far as the the imagery. I think he likes that. I think he likes the imagery. I think he loves the fanfare. He reminds me in many respects, and I say this not in a bad, if I say this, you're going to take this the wrong way, almost of Caesar. There's a Caesarian aspect to this, meaning there's this leader, this colossal, this leader who runs the show. Okay, this is something which is beyond fascinating. This is something fascinating. A lot of it has to do with, I think, his sense of pomp. You saw his rallies, and it's what brought him fame. He has been able to embolden the conservative Republican spirit. He's been able to make patriotism cool again. He is 100%. I think it's fantastic that he does that. The issue then remains, and this is something which I can't explain enough to you. There's something which is more important, and that is simply the idea of, I don't know if he truly is being given the right information. It was suggested recently by somebody that the last person who speaks to him is the one who can set his view. For example, Mr. President, we're at a crossroads in history. This is where you can be the leader. You can reset. You can strike a balance. And by the way, his Wall Street buddies and people are going to enjoy it. People in tech stocks, along with others. But you're going to see a fissure when Elon Musk starts putting up Starlink for Iran. Are you seeing how also they are also turning themselves? Remember, so far everybody was kind of groovy. People are starting to say, Cash Patel, oh no, not Cash Patel, Bongino, maybe Pam Bondi. Pam Bondi's been very quiet. Pam Bondi should be she can redeem herself immediately by just having a series of indictments against Antifa. What does this government need to know? What does any government need to know? What does the Department of Justice need to know regarding Antifa? What is it? Somebody explain this to me. Somebody explain. What does it have to do? Just put this into perspective. You have organized urban terrorism. You have shock troops. You have almost jackbooted thugs in uniform. They have information of the superstructure. Did you see all of this information? It's one thing for you to say, well, we're going to organize protesters. They're part and parcel with Antifa. What are we waiting for? I don't know. This would be it. This would be the most important, the most critical, the most necessary. And for some reason, they're not touched. I don't understand this. I don't get this. Forget Epstein. Epstein's over. Nobody cares about Epstein. That's done. I don't understand this. Somebody somewhere is going to say, if you really want to, if the Republican Party should be very afraid because this isn't connecting. Americans don't understand. This is Fox News. And let me also tell you something. If you ever had any doubt as far as how dangerous Fox News is, the fact that they're saber rattling, we know who pays them. We know who say, not only is it the MIC and others, but they've never seen a war they don't love. And they get these 12-year-olds, Emily Campagno and these others, and they sit around on the couch, and each of them with this bloodlust, this warlust, baring their teeth, just waxing almost pornographic over this. George Keane, my friend, he's on fire today. George Keane says, can DJT recover from Iran? Maybe drop Israel? Let me explain something to you. Bottom line is simply this. Do you think, quick, do you think Americans really understand this? Yes or no? Do you think Americans truly understand the tactical, the strategic, the geopolitical necessity of Iran? Do you? Does anybody? Seriously, does anybody have any? Do you think America has any idea, truly, that they care about this, that America says, we've got to finish this job off. 9/11 was, say what you want, it was 9/11. Iraq, Afghanistan, it was post 9/11. People were into that sort of thing. Then we get to this weird kind of divergence. Laura Loomer, who's very good, is saying this is about Islam. I'm thinking to myself, wait a minute. You've got to understand what's happening here. You've got to make sure that you don't look like a shill for a country, just like people were shills for Ukraine. Another thing is the idea, the connection that was being paid to people who had a problem with military action, or people who disagreed with military strategies regarding Israel. The anti-Semitic thing, you've worn that trope out. It's done. Nobody believes this anymore. It doesn't make any sense. You do one of two things politically. Number one, you piss people off, or number two, you waste valuable time going after people for things that matter. What do you think is the number one political issue here? What do you think is the number one political issue in this country? Tell me right now. If I say, listen, I'm going to meet with President Trump, and I'm going to tell him for you what you think, or you can meet him yourself, the number one issue that the Republicans, whatever, should be looking at in terms of midterms. What do you think it is? What's the number one issue? Is it Iran? And tell me, what is it? Because Iran can't have a nuclear bomb, a nuclear enrichment facility, so we're going to bomb them? What's the number one? Johnny Green says immigration. All right. I think you're there in many respects. Allison says, no, Americans do not understand. I agree with you 100%. What do you think it is? The number one issue is war. War is the number one issue for most Americans? No. Wasteful spending? No. If I had to tell people, number one, think of the issue that is the most, and I've been saying this forever. Give me an issue that everybody understands. It is still the fact that we live in a country that is being pushed by these Democrats who want to put men and women into the wrong bathrooms. George C. says, should DJT have a MAGA steering committee? Marjorie Taylor Greene, Bannon, and I think Elon didn't help post-election. Marjorie Taylor Greene is against the Iran thing. Bannon is, I'm not even sure what Bannon necessarily is after. His is we don't need a steering committee. He's got to find out what is it that you're about. You know who else is losing traction drastically? Bobby Kennedy. Bobby Kennedy is losing tremendous traction. Did you see recently there's a piece, he and, what's that guy's name? Dave, I don't know. Tucker Carlson. For the time being, I'm not sure this is worth it. I'm not sure if he's worthy of it. I don't know. But Tucker Carlson is the voice of this generation. He is the voice of, not this generation, but this kind of like a true neoconservative, a new conservative, not the neocon, but. And he is saying, and others are saying, what happened to Bobby Kennedy? What happened to him? He started off so hard, so strong. Remember the Children's Defense Fund? It's like they defanged him. He was going after vaccines and autism and this. And now he's talking about red dye number 3. He's standing there with an Israeli flag with Shmuley. I'm thinking, what happened to him? Did they get to him? See what's going on right now. I can't believe what's happening. Where are you? You were going to be the voice that we thought. You were going to go after CDC. Fauci and these guys are safer now than they ever were. Where is this? We had Marty McCary is there. What is his name? Varangi. I can't remember his name, but it's very long. Forgive me. Where are they? Nothing. Even the JFK files with that not Mace necessarily, but this lunatic from Florida, even that, they blew that apart. They wasted our time with that one. George is on fire today. George says, did Candace first call RFK implosion? I don't know. But let me tell you something. When this thing, you're going to start seeing fissures within the party. And then you're going to see who is being paid by what group and what organization. Look, you might not like what I say, and I don't blame you. I know it's like, we're going to do great. We're going to do terrific. And I still think we can. The number one issue that every American understands is this moral debauchery, this lunacy of the Democratic left, specifically when it comes to gays and children and trans. That is number one. This is unbeatable. You have all of the information. You have all of it there. They're not going away. I don't have to explain anything. When you have to, if you talk about war, well, here's Iran, 1953 Operation Ajax, most of that, too much work. This is a dude in a dress, and this guy is trying to get into your kid's men's, little boy's room or little girl's room or whatever it is. And this is what we have. This is a policy of perverts. That's it. End of discussion. It shifts right to them. Americans love that. You can put it in a 5-second. Do you want this or do you want this? Simple. Blacks, gays themselves, they're not into this trans stuff. Gays are conservatives. Whatever happened to the Amish? Where's Scott Pressler and all these? Where are the Amish? Where are the black barbers from the Bronx? What are we doing? What is this? Stick with the people that brought you to the dance. Let them have it. Tell them, I'm about common sense. Ladies and gentlemen, do you think that your daughter should be forced to have some man in her ladies' room or little girl's room? Whatever the phrase is. Team locker room, whatever you want. Give them a simple image. That's it. I'm going to break it to you the hard way. Not everybody goes crazy about military and patriotism. A lot of people don't. You think it is. Trump has always played to his strengths. He always plays to the crowd. That already brought him there. You've already won these people over. Lori Cook says, Barnes said Sarah Sanders influenced DJT per farmers' immigration issue. Barnes said Sarah Sanders influenced him per farmers' immigration issue. I don't know who Barnes is, but yes, there has been there was something else that Sarah Huckabee Sanders. What was it? Remember that? Yeah, child labor laws. Yes. She surprised me. Yeah, well, her father's the ambassador to Israel, which is fine. Nothing wrong with that. But you know where these people are. These are, how do I say these people? And I'm going to say this in a nice way. There are some people who are hacks. Let me give you an example. Levin, Hannity, Laura, well, no, those two. Simple meat and potatoes. This issue is very, very simple. No, and that's fine. Fox News, to me, is like saying, The View. It doesn't matter to me. It's a network. It has no bearing on anything. I still think, especially by the amount of time that Bondi and others appeared on Fox, I think people think that is somehow representative of how the country thinks. Well, it's not. Now, let me just explain something to you. And I hope nobody takes this the wrong way. I'm not here to make friends with the administration. I want them to win. Because we need 3 wins in a row. 2024, midterms, and 2028. And already, you see where we're going? It went from America first, and we've abandoned this. What? What happened to America first? Nobody, people don't understand Iran. They don't even know anything. They just don't, it doesn't mean anything. It's a waste of time. It'd be like, I hate to say, if you were to talk about AI legislation. Americans don't really understand what AI means. So you're kind of wasting your time with that one. You don't want to go too much into this. Elon has made a very interesting move away from this. Watch how they're going to position Palantir and Thiel against Elon. They're planning on something. Wait until when the word picks up, when this thing pivots. I saw this, and you saw this in Vietnam. Nobody said anything about Vietnam until it just passed this line, and then they said, okay, that's enough. When people are Piers Morgan makes Geraldo look like Ed Whitten, okay? Piers Morgan is finally coming along and saying, we're talking about starvation. For some reason, Piers Morgan realizes the whole Gaza thing is wrong all of a sudden, and he's apologizing to everybody. I'm sorry, I was wrong. Piers Morgan, what does that mean? What, did Piers Morgan have a change of heart? No. Somebody greenlit, it's okay to do this. You're okay. Piers Morgan doesn't, the first thing Piers Morgan protects is Piers Morgan. He is not in any way, he is not some trendsetter. Somebody told him it's okay to say this. The world is changing on this. They're going to pivot so fast on this. Because the pictures, the reality, the carnage, the inhumanity has been shielded from us. And once it breaks through that blood-brain barrier, that firewall, it's over with. It's done. Believe me when I'm telling you this. And Mr. President, you're going to be standing there with your missiles saying, what happened with this? And they're going to say, that's enough. What are you doing? They're still asleep. Americans are still asleep. Once it picks up. Now, the best part about it is that the left is just as complicit in war profiteering as the right is. So they're not going to say anything. You know something's up when you see the same people on CNN as you do on Fox. You hear what I'm saying? You see what the issue is. What I'm telling you is understand how the strategies work. Forget what you think. Forget what you like. It doesn't really matter. Politically, if we don't win in midterms, if we don't win in 2028, we're wasting our time. That's all I care about. The president cannot change the world. He's got to win. And when you say win, that means people like what he does. And war is a no-brainer. It doesn't make sense. We are not a war. People are war fatigued. We're tired of it. It doesn't make any sense. There's too much explaining. People don't understand this. Why are we bombing Iran? Because they might be getting a nuclear. Do they have one? No. Well, what are we doing? And the reason why is, the real reason is that since what, Bibi Netanyahu has been saying every 3 years, Iran is 2 weeks, 2 years, a month from getting a nuclear. This is our red line. This is it. This is the red line. This is it. Okay. What are you telling us for? Oh, because he wants us to. Oh, okay. He's not saying it. Well, go ahead and do something about it. Oh, no. No. That's not interesting. It's just like with Ukraine. See, this doesn't make any sense. It's a waste of time. It's a waste of political capital. People don't understand this. You've got to give people issues that they can grasp. You have to understand, go with simple issues. That this country is being run by perverts. You think I'm kidding? I can go into I can go into a barbershop in the Bronx. I can go into a gay community. I can go to a retirement home. I can go to a military base. I can go left, right. Everybody says this trans stuff is weird. Not gay, trans, not gay. This, I can't define what a woman is. Have Ketanji Brown Jackson or Jackson, how much is it? B? Ketanji, anyway, you don't hear anything about it. Have her say, listen to her. Listen to what she's doing. Look at this. MAGA hates war. Lori, that's what we're supposed to say. That's what I thought. What are we doing? But we don't hate war. We hate war we don't understand. We don't understand this. After 9/11, we were screaming saying, Iraq has nothing to do. What time is it? 10 what? 15. Yeah. People were saying, after Iraq, or after 9/11, yeah, people were saying, well, okay, maybe. Because at least there was something. Americans don't want this. But, Lori, it's not necessarily just because you're doing something which is wrong. You're wasting political capital. You're wasting it. You've got to change. You've got to make people think this is for kids. This is part of a solemn... People, I say this to people, and they think I'm crazy. You're overdoing it. You're overdoing it. Let me put it this way. I want you to think of politics as having a party for kids. Okay? You've got a 5-year-old, a 6-year-old, whatever it is, and you're going to put party food out. What do they want to eat? Hot dogs, hamburgers, pizza. That's it. Ice cream. No. It's very simple. It's simple. They love that. Nothing complicated. Don't get them any crudités or any dips or no hummus and no. Hot dogs, hamburgers, pizza. That's it. That's it. Not even fried chicken. Hot dogs, hamburgers, pizza. That's it. That's it. America is hot dogs, hamburgers, and pizza. That's what we understand. Give me something very, very simple to grasp and give you a very simple theme. Say that this is pitting against us versus whatever you want to call it. Us versus the evil, or I don't know what it is. We are wasting our time. Somebody's got to get to the president and saying, I don't know what you're doing. I don't know what your commitment is. I don't know if this is about money or Congress or whatever, but you are making the biggest mistake of your life. And if it is believed, if it is true that we have not only people like the Israeli lobby, but the NATO lobby and the Lindsey Grahams and all those folks, if we are again enslaved and connected to the military-industrial complex, war profiteers, death merchants, then we're ruining this. Then we have no system, then we're doomed. That's it. That's it. This president has so much at stake. We forget our view. Look, I know nobody cares about this. How would you describe what people think about America? Now you might say, I don't care what America thinks. We're big and we're the best and we're always hated. But now, Iran, and when they take out the Ayatollah, the supreme leader, if they do, and who do you think's helping with that targeting? Palantir. The parade was beautiful. It was beautiful. But the thing is, Lori, thank you for that. The reason, Lori, is that we talked about militaries for noble wars and efforts. Let me say something again. If somebody targeted the Pope, I don't know what the equivalent would be. Do you know what that would be? People in there, but they're actually calling for this. And I don't know who's got the president's ear, if it's Jared, if it's Adelson. I have no idea. This is insane. Let me say this again for the millionth time. If you want to stop Iran from the bomb, diplomacy, fine. But that's not what they want. Bibi is using that as an excuse. That's their competitor. They want to wipe them out. And you have yet, people still think that these people are ragtag and they don't have any weapons. And Hezbollah, oh yeah? Pakistan, really? Their war councils are speaking, and then we're in it. And then do you think we can say, okay, you know what? Maybe, sorry, we really shouldn't have gone this far. You're on your own now, pal. You've just made the bet. It doesn't matter. And we can't turn to the world and say, by the way, we're out of this. We were at first because you don't understand. There's a connection with the lobby. But we're out of it now, so leave us alone. I hope to God, I'm going to leave you with this. I hope to God that they never decide to bring their discomfort and their anger with us on our turf. The moment that happens, all bets are off. You hear what I'm saying? All bets are off. Okay, my friends, thank you so very much. Today, ladies and Maggie and Ham, Tram, Shazam, Christian, Raul Rodriguez, George Keene. George Keene was on fire today. George Keene and Lori Cuck, thank you so much. And Raul Rodriguez, thank you so much, dear friends. Don't forget to follow Mrs. L. By the way, Mrs. L has been on the Nancy. Oh, have you seen her on Nancy Grace? Owns it. Owns it. Raul says, MAGA may hate war, but yearns to get busy. I like that. Lori Cuck says, I'm watching foreign people on YouTube watch parade, USA Pride. I want to be proud of our country, and I'm not proud when we are involved in wars nobody can understand. I'm not proud of that. Doesn't do anything for me. And I think you would agree. We're better than that. We're the good guys. At least I thought. All right, my friends, make sure you are subscribed to Lionel Nation. Make sure right now you are doing this. Right now, Lionel Nation. Lionel Nation, make sure you're subscribed. Also, subscribe to Lynn's Warriors and our legal channel, Lionel Legal. We'll see you later, my friends. Make sure you hit that little bell so you're notified of live streams and new videos. And until then, remember, as we always say, as we always end, the monkey's dead, the show's over, sue ya, da-da.